Hello boys and girls, it's Miss Aaliyah here, and it's time for us to do science. Just in case you're not feeling motivated, remember the words of Marie Curie. Nothing in life is to be feared, it is only to be understood. So if you would like to understand the kidney and how it contributes to the excretory system, grab a pencil and a notebook, get settled because we're about to start. Are you ready? Okay, let's begin. Before I dive into today's lesson, I would like to recite a short poem for you. The name of this poem is The Kidney and the Excretory System. I would like for you to listen to the words carefully because it will help you to understand briefly how the kidney contributes to excretion. A kidney will help the urine to flow as long as your blood pressure doesn't get low. Down the ureter to the bladder below, a drop of urine knows where to go. After it floats in the bladder so wrong, down the ureter to make a splashing sound. If the kidney stops working and doing its job, your skin becomes flaky and you turn into a slob. So please drink up your water and know in your heart that your kidney will filter and do their part. I trust that you would have enjoyed that poem, boys and girls. Now let's dive into what it is we have to learn today. In today's lesson, you will learn how to define excretion, how to identify the main organs of the excretory system, and to explain how the urinary system filters blood and excretes waste. And lastly, we're going to identify kidney diseases and describe dialysis. As promised, let's first define what excretion is. Excretion is the process of removing waste from the body. It can be in the form of a solid, liquid, or gas. Wastes are useless to the body, but if left to build up inside of us, it can become poisonous, and as a result, we can become ill or even die. So your body needs to excrete waste, and thanks to the following organs, your body is able to excrete waste in a proper manner. These organs that help with excretion are the large intestine, which eliminates solid waste that remain after the digestion of food. Then we have the liver, which breaks down excess amino acids and toxins in the blood. Then we have the skin, which eliminates excess water and salt in the form of sweat. And finally, the lungs, which helps the body to excrete carbon dioxide. However, in this lesson, we're not going to discuss all those organs. We're going to focus on the role of the kidneys in excretion. Here we have an image of the urinary system. It is made up of the kidneys, the ureter, the urinary bladder, and the urethra. The kidneys are the main part of the urinary system. The function of the urinary system is to filter waste products and excess water from the blood, excrete them from the body. The kidneys are a pair of bean-shaped organs just above the waist. The function of the kidney is to filter blood and form urine. Urine is the liquid waste product of the body that is excreted by the urinary system. Nephrons are the structural and functional units of the kidney, or in other words, they're the main part of the kidney that helps us to filter blood and excrete urine. A single kidney may have more than 1 million nephrons. You can see where the nephrons are located by looking at an image that is depicting a cross section of the kidney. So if you were to take a kidney and cut it in half, it would look something like this. Now the top there, you'd see we have the medulla, Then you'll see the arrow pointing to the nephrons, and below that it's the retinal column, and then we have the retinal artery, the retinal vein, and the ureter. Now let's discuss how blood is filtered and how urine is formed. As shown in the figure or the cross section of the kidney, each nephron is like tiny filtering plants. It filters blood and forms urine in the following steps. The first step, blood enters the kidney through the retinal artery, which branches into the capillaries. When blood passes through capillaries, it enters the nephrons, and then blood pressure forces water and dissolves the substances into the blood and across the capillary walls. The second step is where that filtered substance, or what is left after the blood is filtered in the nephron, it passes further into the nephron, and then it is filtered even more, and some of it is reabsorbed and returned to the bloodstream, while the rest of it is secreted into a fluid. That fluid passes to a collecting duct, which reabsorbs some of the water and returns it again to the bloodstream. That fluid that is left is called urine. So after the blood passes through all those stages and is filtered about 2 times, what is remained is urine. That's the waste that the body does not need. Okay, boys and girls, let's move on to discuss how urine is excreted out of the body. So after the blood would have been filtered within the kidney, that filtered substance that is left, or the waste, is then directed towards the ureters, which are 2 muscular tubes that connects the kidney to the bladder. And the bladder, boys and girls, is a sac-like organ that stores urine. So when the bladder is about half full, it sends a message to the sphincter, and the sphincter, boys and girls, is a muscle that controls when you urine and when you don't. So when it's time for you to urine, it slackens, or it loosens so that urine can pass through. And after it's finished, it tightens again so that urine doesn't pass through, right? Good. So the sphincter is actually that final step in which urine is expelled out of the body. Now let's move on to discuss some of the diseases that can happen if the kidney is not functioning properly. A person can live a normal, healthy life with just 1 kidney. So you learned that we have 2 kidneys. But did you know a person can live a normal, healthy life with just 1 kidney? However, at least one of the kidneys must be functioning properly to maintain life. Diseases that threaten the health and functioning of the kidneys include kidney stones, urinary tract infection, and diabetes. Now let's discuss each of them individually. In the photograph, you would see how a kidney stone is formed. Kidney stones are formed within the kidney, and as the name suggests, stones, they're hard, and it causes severe cramps or abdominal pain. Kidney stones are mineral crystals that form in urine inside the kidney. They may be extremely painful. If they block the ureter, they may be removed so urine can leave the kidney and can be excreted. The second disease that can affect the urinary system is called a urinary tract infection, which is a bacterial infectious disease that can be formed in the urinary tract, especially the bladder. Bladder infectious disease such as that one can be treated with antibiotics prescribed by a doctor. If untreated, however, they may lead to kidney damage. So how would you know if you have a urinary tract infection? You may know this if your urine has a cloudy or dark color, if there is blood in the urine, and if you're experiencing severe pain in the pelvic area. It also causes a burning sensation when you urinate, or your urine may have a strong smell, a bad smell. It can also increase the urgency to urinate, or it may cause you to want to urinate all the time. So if there are any of those symptoms present, chances are you may have a tract infection, which is a disease that affects the urinary system. Now let's discuss the final disease that affects the urinary system, and it's caused by diabetes. If a person has uncontrollable diabetes, that may cause damage to the capillaries of the nephrons. And we just learned that the nephrons are the powerhouse of the kidney. They help to control the filtering of the blood that can then be filtered into urine and excreted out of the body. So if that is affected, it will cause some serious problem. As a result of that, the kidneys lose much of their ability to filter blood. And this is called kidney failure. The only cure for kidney failure is a transplant, meaning someone gives you one of their kidneys. Remember we said that a person can survive or live with just one kidney? So if you have a family member that has a failing kidney, both of their kidneys are failing, another family member may choose to donate their kidney, one of their kidneys, to help that family member. And that process is called a kidney transplant. Another way it can be treated is by dialysis. Dialysis is a medical procedure in which blood is filtered through a machine. So dialysis works like a kidney, so if there's kidney failure, that machine does the filtering and returns all the good substances to the blood and excretes the urine. Okay, boys and girls, now it's time to think. I have a scenario here and I would like for you to think about it and then we'll discuss. The scenario is Tom was seriously injured in a car crash. As a result, he had to have one of his kidneys removed. Does Tom need dialysis? Why or why not? Let's discuss. Take a break, understand the problem, and we'll discuss it after. Boys and girls, I hope you had fun thinking about that. Now, there are two ways this problem can go. So it says here, Tom was seriously injured in a car crash. As a result, he had to have one of his kidneys removed. And we were tasked to identify whether he would need dialysis. For those of you who said, yes, miss, he would need dialysis, you could be right. Because the scenario did not mention whether or not both of his kidneys were intact. It simply said he had to have one of his kidneys removed. So you know that we have two kidneys in our body. So if one had to be removed, we don't know the state of the other one, right? We don't know. So if the other one is bad or badly injured, we can say that he would need dialysis, right? He would also need a transplant because he needs two kidneys in order to survive. So for those of you who said, no, miss, Tom does not need dialysis, you can be correct as well. Because in the scenario, it said that only one of his kidneys were removed. And we can assume that the other kidney that was left inside of his body could be in good condition, and we learned that the body only needs one kidney to survive. So if that kidney is functioning well, Tom doesn't need dialysis. So it can go both ways. Okay, boys and girls, that has brought us to the end of yet another lesson. I trust that you would have enjoyed all that we discussed. And remember the words of Marie Curie. Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. So I want you to feel encouraged. And if you don't understand a topic, remember you can always practice, do some research, read up, and get yourself properly prepared for your upcoming exam. Thank you, boys and girls, for tuning in, and goodbye.